Everyone, welcome back to your favorite pirate crew. Today we are going to see Kizaru humiliating Akainu after becoming the Marine Fleet Admiral. If you would like to see more about One Piece in our channel, please leave your thumbs up and subscribe to join our pirate crew. After the Great War of One Piece, during the Marineford arc, many things changed. Not only did we have great losses and revelations that would change our views on things, but we also witnessed exciting and ultra-striking scenes. Moments that made Marineford become one of the most beloved arcs of the entire fandom, along with others like Kenny's Lobby and Wano, for example. And one of the things that were revealed to us were the story and the first official appearances of some characters, such as the admirals going into action officially. Some super important and interesting characters were Akainu and Kizaru, who acted directly as antagonists during Marineford, coming into conflict with Luffy and his companions during the search for Ace rescue. In the end, we know that the rescue failed, but in return, we also had more painful losses, and people got to know even more how important Ace and Luffy's names were, both as individual pirates and as descendants of super threatening pirates to the world government. In light of this, characters like Akainu were blindsided by ending the existence of such people once and for all. However, some like Kizaru, despite following orders, remained more controlled emotionally speaking. And that said, we saw that after this great war, Aokiji left his post while Akainu ascended, but only Kizaru stayed where he was. Is it possible that Akainu ascended only because of his power, or perhaps because of his actions during Marineford? Could Kizaru, in fact, be able to defeat Akainu? Then why did only Akainu get a new rank? These are the topics we will talk about in today's video. Bossolino, better known by his alias Kizaru, is an admiral in the Marine. After Aokiji resigned as a sailor and Akainu was promoted to Fleet Admiral, Kizaru is now the only remaining admiral of the previous trio. Because of his actions, Kizaru can be considered the secondary antagonist of the Sabaody Archipelago arc and one of the main antagonists of the Marineford arc. As an admiral, Kizaru was second only to the admiral of the Sakazuki fleet, and before that to Sengoku, holding power over thousands of lower-ranking soldiers. His authority involved commanding entire fleets, having influence over overall headquarters strategy, and issuing orders for special purposes, such as enacting a buster call on an island he deemed a threat or temporarily transferring such privilege to others. The fact that the admiral is able to exercise these authorities properly and efficiently indicates great military leadership and coordination skills on his part. In terms of combat, Kizaru is among the strongest characters that have ever appeared in history. For with his rank of admiral, he is not only considered, with his two companions, the strongest active naval officer, but has also been crowned as the greatest military force of the world government in general. Kizaru's mere presence was enough to cause a mass panic in the Sabaody Archipelago, inducing all the pirates there, such as the 11 supernovas present at the time, to flee. While on the island, Kizaru was able to subdue 4 of the said supernovas, albeit individually, with absolutely minimal effort, dealing each defeat in a single blow, with none of them being able to touch him. One of them attacked him with 2 invisible surprise attacks, which, however, proved to be completely ineffective in injuring the admiral. After that, Kizaru got into a one-on-one sword fight with an old Silver's Rayla, the former right arm of the Pirate King. Although Rayla kept all focus on the admiral by Kizaru's own admission, with him still admitting that if he made an honest attempt to capture the pirate legend, even he would need reinforcements, so both ended their duel in at least conjuncturally good condition, with Kizaru unharmed except for a small cut on his cheek. After the fight, Kizaru remained in Sabaody and captured a total of 500 pirates. During the Marineford War, Kizaru was seen fighting, even briefly, against several of Whitebeard's division commanders, including the Emperor's right-hand man, Marco, as well as Whitebeard himself, whom he was able to seriously wound on equal footing, the latter being the only pirates who took Kizaru to fight seriously to any extent. Moreover, despite his more or less constant involvement in the fighting that was going on, the Admiral eventually came out of the war completely unscathed, without any visible injury. Even as a vice admiral for more than 10 years, Kizaru was already very powerful, being strong enough to defeat Arlong, a rather powerful fishman, with only one attack. In truth, Compared to Akainu, Bosolino is not far behind. In fact, perhaps, it is at a point almost higher than his, although it has not risen to leader of the admirals. Befitting his rank as admiral, Kizaru's physical prowess is immense, with his brute strength being enough for him to exchange blows on par with Rayla and face Whitebeard himself face to face, whose body power, even in his old age, far surpasses that of a giant, even pinning him of the latter underfoot with what seemed like casualties. Overall, Kizaru's physical attacks are delivered with incredibly powerful, heavy kicks via his ability to move at the speed of light. In terms of durability, Kizaru could withstand a kick from Marco with armament haki while they were in the sky, which broke Kizaru's one-arm guard and sent him to the ground with immense force without a scratch, though his transformation into light before impact may have allowed this. While most of Kizaru's feats relating to speed derive from his ability to transform into light, the coordination of his movements at that speed, such as his kicks traveling from place to place with indifference but with unerring precision, suggests a high level of natural perception and quick reflexes. The same applies to the power observed in most of Kizaru's physical attacks and kicks, which are dramatically enhanced in weight and strength by the Admiral's power to move as light, making the theoretical power of his natural kicks difficult to measure. Other than that, the Admiral showed impressive dexterity, being able to casually stand on top of a moving cannonball, as well as very keen hearing, able to perceive underwater activity hundreds of feet away. In addition to these abilities, Kizaru proved to possess incredible skills with fencing, especially when wielding his great sword of light. He was able to duel with Rayla, an especially powerful swordsman, with the result of a draw despite his intangibility being negated by his enemy's powerful haki. We can't fail to mention his devil fruit as well, can we? It has the name Pika Pika no Mi, which means glow or light, a Logia type fruit. As a Logia type user, he is able to let objects sparse through him and rebuild his body from energy particles. He is able to move and attack at the speed of light, and all his attacks are based on the element of light, such as firing bursts of energy from his fingers or feet with extreme accuracy and precision. His power is very destructive, causing huge explosions and making it so that he could easily destroy buildings. He also has the ability to reflect himself, essentially moving from one place to another at the speed of light. Due to the power of this fruit, Kizaru is possibly the fastest man in the world. He can also create a sword of pure light, which can withstand heavy attacks enhanced with haki, as shown in his fight with Silver's Rayla. It was stated by One Piece's own artwork that all Vice Admirals possess haki. So as someone who is one rank above Vice, Kizaru can use this ability. He was seen using his armament haki to negate Whitebeard's attempt to destroy Ace execution platform during Marineford, creating with his fellow admirals a combined shield with his 3 haki. In truth, if we are to analyze the abilities of Kizaru and Akainu, we can note that although both tried their best to prevent Ace's rescue, having fought and caused gigantic destruction throughout the arc. However, unlike Akainu, as we have seen well, the Admiral is someone who has a personality and attitude almost contrary to that of the new fleet Admiral. After all, as we have seen well, Akainu is someone who follows absolute justice almost to the letter, while Kizaru, despite following rules, has a strong property of levity, always facing the situations he gets into calmly and casually. Despite this great difference in personality, they do, in a way, follow the same ideologies, however they act in very different ways from each other. It is possible that Kizaru, due to his abilities, is more powerful than Akainu. However, it is likely that it is not only strength or physical abilities that make someone ascend positions, but their conduct. That said, we can say that as the world government seems to notice not only people's general attitudes, whether they act for or against their mandates, but also how it affects them. That said, we know that often the pirates who have grandiose rewards are not always so powerful as to live up to the value, but pose a big enough threat that they receive such attention. Perhaps the same applies to sailors and admirals, for example. After all, so far, although we have seen only a little of Akainu and Kizaru's overall powers, with the information we have seen and have so far, thanks to his abilities with light and his haki, it is perhaps likely that Kizaru is more powerful than Akainu. However, we cannot say that with complete certainty at this point in time. It is very likely that we will only find out whether such a statement is canonical or not during the next big war of One Piece, where we will eventually have a new confrontation between Luffy and Akainu, which will entail the presence of other characters as well, like Kizaru himself, who might be forced to their limits and reveal their cards up their sleeves that might have been hidden from us until then. Then we will have the certainty and tact to know which of the two is in fact more powerful. But what about you? Do you think Kizaru deserved to move up in rank instead of Akainu? Do you think he is more powerful than the current fleet admiral? Leave your opinion about this in the comments so we can discuss it a little better together. That's it, my Straw Hat Pirate. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions for a video, don't forget to comment below, because I'll be reading them all as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from your pirate crew.